Pretty good brew. Well, I just went on a fire drill, guys. Drove 10 miles or more south to my favorite fishing spot, Dunedin Causeway. Got all my gear here, right? I got my snack in there, I got my tea in there, I got my favorite throne here, I got a cooler full of ice, I got my 5 gallons of water, I've got my, oh, this is my Trapper Crapper bucket, guys. This is fantastic. Let me show you something. Yes, I call this my Trapper Crapper. And what you do with a Trapper Crapper, yeah, you can take a tarp, see that blue tarp? You can back up to the waterfront and then throw your tarp over this door and let it hang way down to the ground and around. And then for a little more privacy, you can do this, close it up a little bit. And then what you do is you take this garbage bag, 13 gallons, and you line this bucket with it. You line this bucket with it here, see? And then you put your Trapper Crapper toilet seat on there. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, what you do is you take a 3/4 piece of plywood and lay it on a toilet seat, trace it out inside and outside, and then you take it with saber saw, and then you take a bucket like so. You see, it fits on the outside. It just fits on the outside like that, and then you just bring it up and mark it and shoot it in. And then you've got a little, you contact cement a little yoga mat on there for a little cushy for your tushy, okay? Isn't that beautiful? I nicknamed that the Trapper Crapper because I went up to Apalachicola one year, trapping coons up there. And I needed a nice, easy going to get it toilet. Yeah, I've got my mullet here. It's ready to go. I got everything ready to go, guys. And I get down there, and there's got to be a 35-mile-an-hour wind coming out of the south right in my face, and wind and a sea breeze and just mist coming right in my face. When I stepped out of the truck, I said, no, we're not doing this. So I came back and came back to the base camp here, but I got things to do. I'll show you. Here's what we got to do this morning, guys. What is a big one? Hello. Seems to be chilled out. Yeah, these are my homemade traps. But I bought another one yesterday. I was at Rural King. Let me show you this. You'll like it. Check it out, guys. Hello. Look at this, guys. A 2-pack cage traps. Yeah. This is perfect size. It's made by the Duke Company. Duke Traps. Matter of fact, I just ordered yesterday. I ordered about $150 worth of coyote trapping supplies. That'll be here in about a week. We're going to get into hopefully a little coyote trapping. I've got bobcats coming in here. I got coyotes coming in here, whacking the heck out of my deer herd. I don't want that. No, we're going to start thinning them out too because I want the deer. Okay. I want the government speed beef, a lot of speed beef running through the swamp here. But yeah, this is made by the Duke Trap Company, but made in China. Yeah, Joe's favorite guys. Yeah, this is basically the same. I kind of copied my homemade traps with this type of design. There's a company out there called Williams Trap Company, and they basically do the same thing. You'll see other traps out there. They've got a metal door that's like on a 45-degree angle, and they sell them same ones down there for the same price as this style, but you don't want those. Coons, big coons, will hit that cage door so hard they sometimes trip and not come out. But with this system, locking system, you've got rings here. These rings fall down. These two rings, they fall down, and it's a positive locking system on this trap. It's really nice. Yeah. This is smaller, a little bit smaller guy here. Little smaller coon. I sell them for $5. The big coon like that one out there, $10. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to show you this trap design, and once I take this coon out, I will and clean it out. He's got it full of debris, which happens a lot. I do this a lot too. I put these rods you get at Tractor Supply. These are they're for hot wires, putting in hot wires around chicken, cattle, whatever. And you put they got those special clips when you put the hot wire around them. That's what these are used for, electric fence, portable electric fence thing. And they work great because you can slide these down through your trap, see, and push it into the dirt, and it keeps them. A lot of times coons will come up and test a cage. They'll grab it and try to pull it over. If they pull it over, the trap's going to fire, and you won't, you're wasting your time. But this is a quick trick I've learned over the years. Put this in, and it's great for baiting too, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay guys, we got two coon here this morning, patiently waiting to get processed. They're just patiently waiting there. And I got these two traps set here. This is my homemade one. I used to run like almost 50 of these. I had like 48 of these. These coon are very powerful. Look at the sides is pushed out, really bulging this trap. They really work a trap hard. But I built this thing with, beefiness in mind. I've got 2x4s here. These are PT, by the way, pressure treated. I've used 1/2x1 on the sides. It's a very simple trap, as you can see. It's a chain that goes down. It's just simply 3 points in there with 14 gauge tie wired in there and that is you can see how much distance there is there for him to walk up that ramp. And it's very simple. The rod is here, comes as bent. I got it bent here and a 90 here. Drilled a little hole through, tie wired it on the chain. I did right in here on this one here is a well, I'll show you here. I'll trip the trap. Doesn't take a lot of pressure on this. Boom, done. This may be not even a pound of pressure to trip that trap, and it's quite a positive lock. As you can see here, these rails here are both made with this material here, this fiberglass stuff. It's worked very nice, very smooth. This is plastic, and it's made with SDR 26, or you can use 35. I think actually this is SDR 35 sewer pipe, 6-inch sewer pipe. And here I've dummied up. I dummied up both on both traps. This stuff is very brittle. It's tough as nails, but if it takes a bullet shot, it will break. But I haven't replaced that piece, so be careful when you're throwing bullets through these things. That plastic will break. But what you do is you cut your pipe to length, the 6-inch sewer pipe. Then you split it. Then you take a heat gun and heat it up. Get that pipe really hot, and then you get it flat and you set a concrete block on it till it cools, and you've got the toughest. I did it by accident. And that was the best accident I've ever came up with. I made these doors out of everything. Aluminum, everything, and they just tear them up. I've caught probably 100 coons so far in these 2 traps. I got one there and one there. They have not tore this up. The only ones tore this up is me shooting a stupid bullet hole through it, okay? So don't shoot bullet hole. This handle is just 14 gauge tie wire doubled, and it's run through a piece of Schedule 40 3/4 inch pipe. That's it. And I spray paint them black. I don't work the field much anymore with these. I'm just working this swamp right here, and I've taken out it's probably going on, since 99, it's probably going on 400 coons coming out of the swamp. So here's my $28 trap over here. I got it at Rural King, made in China, but it's basically the same concept as this one. But I wanted a trap. This has got a lot of welded stuff in it. I didn't want to. When I moved up here, I got rid of my welder, my cutting torches, because I used to do a ton of fabricating and all kinds of craziness. So I didn't have a welder, so I said, well, how can I take this design trap, which is very cool, and convert it into a non-welded trap? And this is my design right here. All right. So basically it's the same setup. Here's the trigger on it, right? But you can see it's got welded stuff. You've got this bracket here that's welded. You've got a bar there with a nut welded on it that rod passes through. You've got a double scenario down here, right here, with 2 nuts on it. And then yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work. This is all welded here. But here, we'll trip this trap, show you how this works. Just comes up, same situation, boom. It's all gravity. Those other traps they have down there have coil springs in them. And they've got a door that comes on an angle. It's the old Have-A-Heart style trap that we were playing with back in the 60s. And we didn't, you know, these are much more functional. Work a lot better. And yeah, it's the way to go. And the dimensions on this thing here are 12 by 12 by 28 long, and that's basically what I have on that trap right there, my homemade one right there. I mean, I may be 30 inches on that trap there, but this is very very good trap. Now a trick, here's a tip for you. Take for bait, use this stuff here. Yeah, use this stuff here. This is cheap, old beach cliff fish steaks, bite size herring, in soybean oil. Yeah, soybean oil. I don't know whoever thought of that. I don't know if it was China, whoever thought of soybean. They eat a lot of soy, and soy is not good for you. It screws up the hormones and everything else. I'm not really too worried about screwing up the hormones on these guys over here, but yeah. Oh, look at else I got. I got free-ranging chickens now, or ducks here, guys. I've got this going on now. Before long, I will be, I've trained them. These guys are trained now. They're coming in, and I'm gonna start harvesting these. We're gonna harvest feathers and breast meat out of these guys. And we'll be wrapping those breast meat in bacon and baking that. Yeah, you'll like that. You'll like that video coming up. And anyway, back over here again. Yeah, the soybean. See, I think they use a lot of this in California, soy. You know, there are a lot of soy eaters, soy boys, you know. And I think maybe that could be one of the problems with those people, the way they're thinking in California, you know. Is this could have brain issues, I don't know. But anyway, there's a lot of that going on there. And so soy, stay away from soy. Now, but what you want to do is take, have your Miss Daisy, when she's making bacon, is save your bacon grease and put it in those little tubs. I put an old ghee. We saved, I used to eat a lot of ghee butter, and we saved the tubs. And we put the bacon grease in there. Let it settle out and cool a little bit in your pan. All the heavies and the bacon grease will settle. And then you pour off the clean lard off the top. And put it in those jars. And it's excellent. This is the tip right here, guys. This is excellent bait for bears, black bears, if you're wanting to lure black bears in, or raccoons. Yeah, so you've got Miss Daisy was just shouting at me for something, so I had to talk to her a minute. Anyway, yeah, here's your tip trick here on baiting up bears or coons. All right, because I've done a lot of both. They love sardines. They love bacon grease. All right. So I'm going to set this trap here. Very simple set. I just lift this rod up, hold this up. I got a screw right here, it's a little handle, see? And I bring this over, and then I set it down on that. There is a little bit of, I took a file, rat tail file, and I put just a slight dimple in this rod here. And that round rod fits right in that little slot, so it's perfect. And I got a tie wire in several spots here, as you can see. And then I put a washer, a fender washer on there, because you can't have this rod sliding. It's got pressure on it. When this door is pushing down on that rod, it wants to push this way. So I created this window here and slid this washer on. And I put a tie wire through here, drilled it through, put a tie wire. That's a stop. It pushes, so that rod cannot keep traveling forward. Same scenario they did over here, except they did weld jobs, okay? So, okay. So the trick tip on baiting coon or bear. Of course, you're not going to get a bear in this trap, but you can lure bears in and snare them with foot snares. Anyway, take a teaspoon of that bacon grease, and so you don't get the stuff slopped all over you. It's going to be solidified and hard, or solid. Scoop a teaspoon out and put it on a square piece, about 3 inches square, 2 inches square of paper towel. That way, put it on that paper towel. Put that inside your can. Take a spoon and put one piece of that steak right there, sardine steak right there. Put another one out here in front on the ground, about a foot in front of this trap. Drop another piece steak right there on that trap on the low side here. Then your can here, as you can see, I'll take this out. I can show you how I load this. Take the point of your rod and stick inside this can and set it on top here. Then hold this door up. See, it fell down. The pan fell down as soon as I lifted this up. Then take this rod and come inside your can and push it right down to the back end. Turn it tight against that. Push it tight against that screen, the back of the trap. Then recock it, recock your trap, and you're ready to go. So you've got bait back there with bacon grease in. They're going to come in, they're going to be sniffing around. A lot of the traps they sell on the market, this one's not too bad, but they're going to screw with it, and I'm going to do it to this trap too, is put half by half hardware cloth. They can't get their claws in there on that. They get their claws in there and keep screwing with this thing, and they can flip the bait out. They'll start eating it out here. They'll dig a hole under the trap and start eating it. But with this wire on here, they'll immediately find out, hey, I can't get at that bait. I can't get there. The only way I can get there is coming around, eating this stuff on the ground, eating that piece of bait right there, going in, eating that piece of bait on that ramp, and walking straight in. As soon as they start up that ramp, as soon as they get their little, see, they can come right here, and they can walk on this. They can't, but as they come up here, and just a little pressure, boom, done. They're trapped. So that's a little tip trick for you guys. Very simple. It's just the simple things. You'll sit and, you know, screw up and miss a lot of them. And when you start missing these coons, guys, right now is breeding season. These coons, like that big boar right there, he probably came from 10 miles that way. This is a huge swamp corridor. Comes here on the high end of it, but it goes north, crosses over, goes into Bear Creek. Bear Creek runs east and west and goes way, way out to the east. That's a huge, actually it goes clear out to where I take my hikes every morning out there in that park. There is thousands of acres out there, and these animals just keep coming as these animals fill up, because there's no trappers anymore. I'm it, okay? There's very few around. If there was a trapper within 10 miles of me right now, I'd be surprised. So the trappers are all died out, most of them. And the coons are getting crazy thick, guys. They're getting rabies, they're infecting dogs, people, everything. So you have to have trappers. I know you want to pick a coon up and give him a nice little hug, but you can't do that. These things will tear your face off, okay? They have to be controlled. So anyway, as they're getting pushed out from up here, because there's so many, these big boars will fight like crazy. That last boar I just did, there get so many of them, the older boars will bite the testicles right off from the young kits. If he feels like, hey, I was too much here, they will control a little bit of their own species by doing stuff like that. They will actually castrate the young boars. So it's a vicious, you know, thing out there. It's kind of like this other party that's in charge right now. They're kind of vicious, but you know, maybe down the road, you know, we can do something like that. No, we're not going to castrate them, guys. Come on. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. You got a lot of cooner coming up through the swamp here and ending up in my place because they're getting pushed out of other areas. So by me thinning these, you've got a lot of time for these animals out here, their food source, crayfish, bullfrogs, all that stuff out in the swamp to kind of regenerate a little bit. So these guys will eat snakes, they eat everything. Yeah, so they need thinning, and that's what we're doing here, and we're making a few bucks at it while we're doing it also. So I just thought I'd show you this cool trap I got. This was good, guys. You get a little small squirrel trap with this. It's a 2-cage deal package, see? 2 cage, it's two deals here. You get a squirrel trap. It's 16 by 5 by 5. I set that last night before I went to bed. I set it in that squirrel feeder up there. I've got sunflower seeds and whole corn in it. I just got back from this fire drill fishing expedition, and there's 2 squirrels in that trap. How 2 squirrels got in, and they were fighting like crazy, guys. They were in there. They were having a pissy fit in there. I just let them out. I've never seen 2 squirrels get in a trap like that before, so I've screwed up. I should have showed you on the camera anyway, but you get 2 of them, 2 traps. Rural King, and this is a regular price, the lady told me, and they had like 5 more of these. And if I was in nuisance control, I wouldn't build these. I used to be in animal nuisance control, I had a license to do it. I don't do it anymore. I'm just backyard trapping. But this is not a bad way to go. I mean, you've got some hours in this thing over here now. Granted it's cheap, but heck, I probably got $28 in this trap worth of material, and that trap is what I paid for this. This is 28 bucks. You get 2 traps plus tax. I think it was 32 and change. I mean, come on, it's cheap. And this is a pretty tough trap. This is not. This 1x1 is tougher, or is heavier duty than that Lowe's wire. I doubled that wire on top of this thing. I put 2 wires. If you don't put 2 wires of that Lowe's cheap wire on this thing, them Coons will about pull the whole roof out of this thing. But 2 layers I found works pretty darn slick. I built this whole trap, by the way, and put this piece in. Put this piece in here so I can completely build the whole thing, and then put this, I could build the whole thing and then put this top doubled, mind you, on the top, last thing. So I could build everything, put all the components in, reaching through the top. And then the last thing I did is took doubled of this cheapo, as you can see, cheapo Lowe's wire, 1x1. The sides are built by half by 1, and this is 1x1. You want 1x1 on top for the simple fact you've got to feed the bait through on the pan here, not on that, because you're shoving that through with your stick, see. But there it is. Pretty slick trap, guys. I love it. If I was in the nuisance control business, I'd be going down there and buying up every one of those things, because that's a perfect size trap. 12 by 12 by 28. It's a perfect size trap for catching critters, coon and possums. All right, guys, gotta run. Gotta get to processing some meat here, and I hope that helped you out on baiting coons, because they sure love the soy boy sauce and bacon grease. See ya.